This video is actually about the Atomic BZ4. I mean, the Atomic BZ5. There was a BZ3. I made a video about that a long time ago. It was the first kit car I bought. I was already made when I bought it. And I was just getting into Mini Z, and I didn't like the fact that you had to go to Facebook to get all your information. It sucked. I was really pissed. Anyways, long story short, I ended up with two BZ3s, one mid motor and one rear motor, and they're great. You know, I sorted it out, and that car is awesome and very smooth, a little delicate, but very smooth. And now Atomic has come out with the BZ5. This is the box. Your normal Atomic fare, you know, blue metal box, sometimes it's black, gold lettering, very professional looking. Let's open it up and show you guys what's inside, and then we're gonna cut to some footage of the finished car, and we're gonna go test it out. Hey you guys, this is Lamont from the future. I know I was gonna open the box and I was gonna show you guys what was inside, but just car parts are inside. And for time's sake, I'm gonna cut that out. We're gonna jump straight into this next segment where I show you the car, do a top down, and talk about the other Atomic cars, the SE2 and the BZ5, BZ3. So let's get to that. All right, so here we go. I don't know if there's enough headspace in this video. I don't know, but let's get back into it. All right, so I finished the build about 2 weeks ago. I've been running it at my local track. I took it out to a larger track out in Park Lane, and it's really great. So let's take a look. All right, so I started off with the BD design body. I really like it. It's the car's got a lot of steering, so it's very maneuverable with this body. I ended up moving to this is the, what is it? The Marca 787 body. I don't know if this is homologated for the Nationals, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna run this forever, but I like this too. It's super wide, and it covers my tires, and I don't have to worry about hitting my steering and having it go out. Which is a problem with most of these cars. They're pretty heavy. Yeah, so the build went great. It was really, the instructions were great. I really had no issue. As I said before, I'm running the upgraded dips, and that is about it. I'm not running anything else, hop-up wise. I'm using the servo saver that came in the car. And yeah, it's really good. Super smooth. The only drawback I see is it's a little heavy, which is normal for the base model, right? So it has the brass chassis. Once they create the aluminum chassis or make that available, I'm sure it'll drop. But it is super smooth, super agile. So let's take a look at some running footage, and then I will show you guys some close-up stuff of the car, because I'm not going to do this weird reach over around the thing because the focus is horrible. All right, so check out this running footage. I'm going to show short track footage and a big track footage, and yeah, let's check it out.
I had to take it to church and I put some holy water on that thing.
7-5, 8-9, 7-7, 8-6. 10-4, 7-4, 10 flat, 19-1,
Wow.
27.2, 7-6, 8 flat, 8-1, 9-5, 7-4, 8-4, 7-9, 8-5, 12 flat, 7-5, 8-4, 7-3, 11-4.
The car is very smooth, very quiet. I think it lacks a little torque, but I've been advised not to over tighten my diffs, so I'm trying not to do that. Very controllable. don't think I have the proper transponder in here.
When I turn the wheel, like a rock. I'm sorry, what?
Like I'm pumping the throttle and it feels like the diffs are not responding at all. But you guys can see all this. I got my angles up right, but it's really good. I like it. It's doing a lot better than I thought it would. Whoop, sorry.
There you go. I ended up taking the steering travel limiters off. You will probably end up doing it too. It wasn't bad. It was definitely not bad, especially on a larger track. It was quite nice actually. But even on a smaller track, I could get around. But you know, if you want tight track steering, you're gonna take them off. I think I might replace mine with smaller nuts. I think those are M2s that are coming out of there. So a couple smaller M2 nuts that maybe still limited, but not limited as much as the travels that came in the kit. I don't know if they're gonna make new ones. Limiters, that is, smaller limiters, but that would be cool. All right, so before I go into the close-ups, I will say a couple things that I did not, well, the only things that really upset me about the car, there's nothing really in there that I didn't like, but the kit comes with a pretty large spur gear, and on one side I think it's 17 and on the other side it's 16. The side that's higher overdrives the front just by one tooth. I'm assuming to compensate for the smaller radius tires in the front maybe, or just to give yourself a more all-wheel drivey feel. I personally am not into that. I'd rather have them both be even. That's what I'm used to with the Giulia. I can only assume that has to do with if you're running smaller tires in the front, or I heard somebody say your front tires wear faster than your rears, which has not been my experience because I run a really soft rear. You know. Anyways, that was the only thing I really had to complain about, but it's not like it made the car drive weird or anything like that. I'm used to driving a Giulia. In the front and rear are driven the same speed. The lower wheels and the tires in the front make for a like a more of a pushy feel than a pulley feel, and I kind of like that. But going to this was not an issue. It was extremely easy to drive, and it's quite fast. Not as fast as the Giulia because of the internal gear ratio and that center spur being so large. I did notice that my motor heats up a bit more on this car than it does the Giulia. Well, the Giulia with the conversion. The regular Giulia, it's pretty much the same. But yeah, so let's go to the overhead real quick and check it out. All right, so there you go. There's the car. I'm losing my place here in space. There's the car. The build was really easy, long, because of how many parts there are in the car, but not extremely long. So when you get the kit, it only comes with a front battery stop. I had to 3D print this rear battery stop. If you go to my 3D printing page, you'll find it there. It has like a space for it. So it's possibly it came in the kit, but I did not see it. So, you know, I don't know, it's either here or there, but I ended up putting 2 5-gram weights on this side to balance out the car. That worked out pretty good. So I guess subtract 10 grams, it's about 179, something like that, all up. And you know, it's super smooth. It's a lot like the BZ3, except for it's a lot more durable. So check out the arms on the other side. Those are beefy, like especially those rears. I hear they're gonna come up with aluminum ones, which is crazy. But you know, I'll probably get them. See, there's the bottom. You can see the arms there. They're very wide and large. It's really good. It's super smooth. I dig it. I'm digging it. It's like there's barely any play in the wheels. I moved, of course, if you can see down in there, I'm running the drive shafts from the Giulia. I think the front ones are the long ones for the rear for the Giulia, and the rear ones I'm running the GLA V2 longs, which are shorter than the Giulia fronts. Because if you try to run these longs in the rear, they're too long. They go too far up into the cup, and they will hem up your rear diff. I'm running the Hobbywing 6500 combo in there, and she gets hot. Now, I don't know, I ran it at a pretty high gearing one time and it got super hot, so I think I might have burned it out. I got another one to swap it in there. But I think I'm at 24 right now, 24, whatever this is. And that seems to be okay. Yeah, it's fast, it's agile. It just, the internal gear ratio is a little higher. So it's not gonna be as straightaway fast as the Giulia. But they're coming out with more spurs, so you'll be able to fix that. My belts are, movable, not too tight. They're not guitar strings or anything like that. I had the rear a little loose before and it kind of bothered me, so I tightened it up, but they're definitely not over tightened by any means. But you do have to watch out, because if you've ever had the BZ3 or the SZ2, the way that you tighten the diff is that you drop a wrench through the little hole there, and that holds a screw on that side, and you screw the tire on this side. I think it's this side. Yeah. And be careful not to over twist, because the screw that holds the diff tightener is plastic and you could strip it out. You guys have done it a couple times, so be careful. Go a little bit at a time, and once your diff is to the point where it doesn't slip at all, do not go past that, because you'll strip it out. But I didn't have that problem, so. I run tighter in the rear than the front, but not by too much. Yeah. So yeah, I've had no problem with the car, nothing's broken. With a heavier all-wheel drive, the issue is if you hit too hard on the steering, you may knock your servo saver a little bit. I've had that happen a couple times, but nothing permanent. What else? So they're running a spring under this plate right here where that little dot is. See that? I put a couple of shims under there on the spring to kind of tighten it up to see if that would help. But it's pretty tight as it goes. As it is. So let's take a look at the BZ3 really quick so we can compare the two. So the BZ3, the old classic BZ3. Really good car, super quick, super nimble, a little delicate, but still really great. So this one is running the aluminum chassis, no weight. I think it comes in at 161 or something like that. Let's take I have a scale, so let's take a look at what it comes up as on the scale. Hopefully you guys can see that. You should be able to. You're gonna have to believe me. You're just gonna have to believe me. Tune out. 146, and with the body, I think this is the body. This is the body. With the Biddy Design Aries 1, 161.9 grams. Now, the guy that won Worlds was running the carbon fiber chassis. It's like so light, insane. So there, BZ3, pretty light. What did I say? 161 grams, 162 grams. So 162 grams with the aluminum chassis. And I'm assuming that's where you're gonna end up around with the BZ5. But this car, yeah, there's some subtle differences. Black and gold as always.
They changed the servo mount slightly. No, pretty much the same. The only thing, big difference is this center spur. If you can see there, it is also pretty large. The pulley is on one side, so the diffs will run slightly off kilters to keep this belt on this side of the thing and this belt to keep them from touching each other. Yeah, so that's a BZ3. This one's pretty dirty. I ran it yesterday. It's really good, really fast, and super light. So there, I'll put them right next to one another. I don't know why I'm having such an issue keeping these things on camera. So there they are side by side. There you go. BZ3 and BZ5 together on film. Cars on film. I'm running the same offset on both. I think this is the atomic -0.5 in the front, 14s in the rear. That is not how everybody runs a car. Most people run 11s all the way around, and that's probably the smarter bet. But you know, I'm a big fan of the 14. But yeah, this one's running, I think, 28, I think, 27, something like that, 26, I don't know, 26 I think it is, on the spur, but actually it looks like the spur on this one is quite a lot bigger, but, so that's 54, and I think this one's 52. So yeah, anyways, there you go, side-by-side comparison. And just for poops and gigs, here is the, that's baking soda, I promise. All right, 160 grams for the SE2. This is also running the aluminum chassis. 160.1. And the BZ5 with the brass chassis is 188. They all have batteries in them, so 188. So, and it's not much heavier with the body. 204. Jeez Louise. So she's up there. 204 with the body on it. 188 without the body. Let's see if the, what is this? The biddy is the 204.8 with the biddy. 204.2 with the Marca, and the other option was this other Marca body. I was running that. Let's see, 204.3. So yeah, it's a little weight. She's a little heavy, but you don't really notice it in the car. It's much lighter than the Giulia. The Giulia is like 250 plus grams, 260, 270 grams if you're running the balance plate in it. So it's still lighter than the Giulia, not as light as the other two with the aluminum chassis, but you know, once you get the aluminum chassis, you're probably gonna drop about, I don't know, 30 grams, 29 grams, 25 grams, something around there. So there you have it. Let's go back to the Rego cam and talk. Let's end this freaking video. It's so long. Talk too much. Well, all right, guys, that is that. I bet you're all wondering, do I recommend you get it? Yes, I do. It's fantastic. It's very nimble. It is a great alternative to the Giulia. The Giulia, I'm going to do a review with the Giulia and the Reflex Racing conversion kit because it drops a significant amount of weight off the Giulia. After this, God knows when it'll be out because I have to go to Nats. But Yeah, I mean, I do recommend getting it. I think there's one other car coming out. The RTRC car is coming out. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of difference between this car and the RTRC car. There are a lot of similarities and there are some definite differences. But I'm gonna get that car too, and I'll write a review about that. Write a review, who writes anything? I'm gonna film a review. But yeah, that's it, guys. The BZ5, it is really good. Impressed, like over the moon impressed. It's really, really good. The only thing I'm looking for is a smaller spur and a aluminum chassis, so I can take advantage of that lighter car with some more straight line speed. Not that it's slow by any means. It is quick, but yeah. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you have not found it being shared. Even if you did, share it somewhere else. It helps bring the channel, higher up in the algorithmic picking or something. I don't know. Check out my Patreon. I will leave a link to that over here, or somewhere over here, and I will see you guys in the next one. The BZ5, forever. Atomic's killing it. If you guys, the MRX, insane. That car's insane. I'll do a video on that eventually after Nats, because prepping for Nats.